public. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya reiterated the stance during a media briefing this morning. The inquiry, which was established to investigate corruption within the criminal justice system, is expected to submit an interim report to President Cyril Ramaphosa on Wednesday. The interim report will contain a detailed account of witness testimonies and evidence presented before the Commission over the past 3 months. Magwenya says making the interim report public would be reckless, as the Commission is still far from completing its work.
The reasoning is quite simple to understand. Some of the witnesses that have come before the Commission are going to be called back again to continue with their evidence. Some had evidence located in certain specific areas, but not as broad as it was meant to be.
To this now, the first G20 meeting under the United States' presidency is set to get underway in Washington today without South Africa. In a diplomatic note sent by Pretoria to member states and published by the Daily Maverick, the Department of International Relations has asked for South Africa's exclusion to be placed on the agenda of the two-day meeting for discussion and clarification. The department says it was officially informed by the United States on the 4th of this month that it was not welcome to participate in any G20 events in the United States in the coming year. Lindsay
birthday. Hers was sort of added on, and she went on to just speak about how because of that experience, she goes all out for her birthdays now. And there were people in the comments who were saying, try having a birthday in December or close to Christmas. That what ends up happening to those kids who just get sort of a joint Christmas and a joint birthday present. So I want to hear from all of you, your various experiences that you've had, especially if your birthdays are close to siblings or parents. Did you ever really get to fully celebrate on your own and have your day and your moment, or did it get diluted? If your birthday is in Christmas season, do you find yourself in a situation where every single Christmas it is the same thing, where your birthday just gets diluted into the Christmas celebrations? And I mean, I even think about the fact, as this lady mentioned, that there are some children, because of where in the year their birthday falls, they never get to have a class party at school. So if your birthday is at the end of December, you never get to celebrate because schools close around the first week. So let's say they closed by the 9th or whatever the case may be. You never get to experience that. And I guess I was not aware that there are many children who go about their lives never getting to feel special on their birthday because of the timing or because how close it is to other things. So I would love to hear from all of you in terms of your experiences. What is fair? What was done in your home, especially if birthdays were shared or were close together? And it doesn't have to be birthdays being close together or shared with siblings. It could even be with parents or with your parents' anniversary. It could be combined with other things that are happening where the spotlight is now not on you. And maybe you can say, actually, Relebogile, this is what we did in our home. I saw another family, you know, those families where they have like, is it 17 children? You know, that like crazy number of children. And I saw what they did or what they do so that they're not spending a lot of money on lots of birthdays, is that every month they will have a cake and each child will get a turn to go and blow out the candle as they sing happy birthday to you, and you blow, and then they bring in another candle for the same cake and everybody sings again. And because they just said it's easier to manage it that way. Or maybe you are listening and you are thinking, Relebogile, to be honest, this birthday thing is really not that deep. I'm not bothered. Birthdays are not a big deal to me. If anything, the less attention on me, the better. That is also understandable. But I just thought to myself, I didn't consider the part about birthdays sort of being clumped into one and what that does for a child when they are growing up. I also recognize that there are certain religions that don't believe in celebrating birthdays. They don't. Or there are people, excuse me, who have grown up in homes where birthdays were just not a thing. Not a thing at all. And that sort of moved on into your adulthood. And you can share as well, what has that made you do or decide to do in terms of how you celebrate your birthday because of what was done at home. So let me hear from you. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
You're listening to 702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja,
winner for the best talk show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
If you are wondering why I sound croaky, it's because I am. Fortunately, I started treatment over the weekend, so I'm starting to recover from whatever it is going in my body. Flu-ish vibes, let me call it that. Flu-ish vibes that even my poor boy, I left him at home with a little bit of a temperature and so miserable. So I can only hope that when I get back, everybody starts to be feeling better. And you know what? I said to myself, rather I be sick now than be sick at the ocean. Let me enjoy being sick now. So asking of all of you of your birthdays, if your birthday was close to your siblings' birthdays, was it clumped into one? If you find that your birthday is in December, close to Christmas or even on Christmas, do you truly feel like you end up losing out? There is nothing special that happens for you. Are you even a birthday person, or are you someone who's like, I genuinely do not care? If anything, I don't like celebrating my birthday. It's not something that I wanted to carry into my adulthood. Generally on my birthday, I like to spend time by myself. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 We've got some of your voice notes.
Hi, Rele, how are you? Kitebu more from Pretoria. So my birthday is on the 31st of December. And I can say that growing up, you know, because 31st of December, people are already celebrating. So then I felt as though my birthday was sort of like an add-on. But, you know, I'm turning 39 this year. And I can say that I've grown up to appreciate and look at it from a direction that, or from a perspective that the world is celebrating my birthday. So yeah, cheers.
Hi, Lebu. Great show. So my two sisters and I were born in September. One was born on the 10th, the 19th, and the 22nd. So we've always celebrated our birthdays together. Even when we were young, we would have joint birthdays. We enjoy it. It's lovely.
Hi there, it's Lucretia here. My birthday is the day before my brother's birthday, but he's special needs. So every year we celebrated the birthday on his birthday. And with the result, when I finally left home, I have always made a big thing about my birthday because I felt I needed to.
It's so interesting, right? How the different personality types come through, where the one says, well, I had to make a big deal about it because of this. And the other's like, I've absolutely loved it. And maybe that speaks to the type of relationship you have with the person you share a birthday with. Because it would truly suck if, let's say, you and your brother's birthday are a day apart and the celebration always happens on the brother's day. Then somehow, somehow, the celebration is more for that person because it's on their day. And I'm not sure. Also share with us, if you were forced to sort of celebrate at the same time, were there two cakes or was there one cake? If one wanted Barbie and the other one wanted cars, like how did that work out? Or did it alternate every year who got to decide? More of your voice notes.
Hi, Relebogile. Lovely show as always. Interesting topic. My wife was born on the 16th of September. Our little princess was born this year, 16th of September. And our anniversary is on the 16th of September. Hey, I'm telling you, Guraf. You don't know what to give attention to or who to give attention to. I'm going to be in trouble going into next year. I might be charged for favoritism here. Thanks for the lovely show.
Oh my gosh. Rav. How do you balance it, guys? Just let everybody have their own thing. So I have a cousin whose wife is the same birthday and they got married on their joint birthday. So their birthday anniversary, both their birthdays and anniversary are on the same day. Yeah. Interesting one. Here are more of your voice notes.
Especially when it comes to the school. Just imagine maybe one of 40 or 35. So you get the party packed 35 I celebrate more a year. After the school, maybe we go to 16. After school, it's toilet. Maybe go to 21 December, or 29 school. Whenever you reckon. Bana ba rona re busy re apaya di-party packs 30 or 40. It depends on a class or by guy. So just imagine that.
Guys, you have a lot of problems. Hi, Relebogile. My younger brother's birthday is on the 12th of January and mine on the 19th. Our grandparents tried to get us on the same day. It was terrible. By the time my birthday came around, I was told about school fees and stationery, uniform, etc. Sometimes I had to wait until the end of the month or the beginning of February to celebrate. This year, I took myself to the Tyler concert. It was the day before. My family only got me a cake. At least I always had a cake. But yeah, it sucked more often than not. Presents, never. Guys. Also, just budget in time. If Mwana, get his school fees and uniforms, budget in time. How? Nikki in Johannesburg. Hi.
Hi, Label. So I wanted to tell you, talking about birthdays and that, I've got a twin sister. So for a good 20 years of our lives, we obviously shared a birthday, which meant that we shared the attention on our birthday. And when we both got married and separated and whatever, for me, it was incredibly difficult to accept getting all the attention on my own and celebrating it as a single person as opposed to sharing it with somebody all the time. I was used to sharing it, and then single, it was difficult, and actually I didn't enjoy it very much at all.
But
I don't like getting all that attention.
Is it not because, and maybe help me out here, Nikki, I would imagine having a twin, you don't know a life without, sort of that shared thing, so much so that people probably sometimes treat you like you have one identity, like you're one person. So I can kind of get where you're coming from because you know life with her.
Yes, absolutely. So when we were growing up, someone might just say, because they couldn't tell us apart, just call us twin. And then you'd answer to that. Or you'd answer to your sister's name because we knew they didn't know which one they were talking to. Because we're really identical, very identical. Even though she's immigrated, we're still very, very similar. We speak the same, we dress the same, our hair's the same. Pure coincidental because we obviously don't see each other all the time. But sharing attention was what I was used to, and suddenly getting my own attention was difficult. It might sound odd, but it was real.
I completely get it. At what point, Nikki, would you say in your lives that you started having more individual lives? Was it marriage that sort of got you into that space?
Yes, because we both got married really young. So, for lack of a better word, went from one nest to a next nest. So we developed our own lives, married men that were completely different, but still have a good relationship. I speak to my sister every night, and she lives in the UK. So we haven't lost our closeness or anything like that. But you don't share attention anymore.
What are your thoughts when you see a set of twin ladies marrying a set of twin gents?
Interesting, I suppose. I'm not sure I deliberately go out and do that, especially since we married men that were very different, however got on very well together, but we remained the same. I suppose it's part of your upbringing, it's part of your genetics, but we're very, very similar still.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for sharing that. And I hope you can start to embrace having all the attention on you.
Thank you.
It's never too late, Nikki in Johannesburg. Asraurum, how do I pronounce your name from Centurion?
Esrom.
Esrom.
Yeah, if you remember Isrom Nyandoro, who you.
Oh, okay, yes. How are you doing?
I am fine, and how are you?
I am good. Go ahead.
Yes. With this thing of birthdays, to be honest with you, really, I personally never had a chance to know my birthdays. In fact, I only started celebrating my birthday after I get a girlfriend. That's when things got interesting because from where I stand, at home we are about 8. We were 8 siblings, so we never had a chance because every time my brother's birthday is on the 2nd of October, and then my sister is on the 10th. In fact, my other sister and brother, they are both on the 10th of October, and then I was born on the 20th. So we never actually we never celebrated. So we even forget our birthday sometimes. Maybe you can only be reminded by the person next door. Say, "Oh, today is your birthday," because they used to see that when we go into school or something like that. So I only started to me personally, birthdays we never had the chance to celebrate. But I used to wish some people, there were birthdays where I remember, today is somebody's birthday. We are not that selfish. We sending them happy birthday messages, but we never had the chance to get the same benefit.
So how did it feel when somebody started celebrating your birthday because you had a special somebody?
Yeah, that special somebody is really making me feel special finally. So that's when now I'm telling, because we getting to have children and stuff. So we now getting, it's happy. Because at first I used to even forget her birthday as well. So, but now that it's used, it's something that we've been doing for almost over maybe 5 years. Now I never forget her birthday.
Ba trainile.
Now I'm someone else.
I love it for you. Absolutely love it for you. And it's never too late. Thank you so much for your call. It really is never too late, right? To make something special that maybe wasn't before. And to use that opportunity, for gratitude, to use the opportunity to look back at how far you've come. Every day, we work right next to a newsroom here. Every day you're hearing of people dying. Right? This very minute, somebody's losing their life. Somebody's going to go to bed tonight thinking that they have plans for tomorrow only to not wake up. It is also just a moment, even if you're not going through a great time, to be like, I'm still here. That's my celebration. More of your voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Relebogile, my daughter and I's birthdays are one day apart.
My birthday is on the 26th October.
And my birthday is on the 27th of October. We've always celebrated it differently. Each person gets their own cake, and that's just the way it is, and we enjoy it. But what a special surprise I had day before my birthday. It's Joan here in Kempton Park.
I love it. You guys are so cute. Also, was your daughter just not literally your birthday present? I love it. Absolutely love it. More of your voice notes.
Afternoon, Relebogile, Hamilton. In my house, we are born in 1 month. 3 of us are born in September. So we prepare from January because no one wants to share or celebrate birthday with another person. Mina born 14, my wife born 24, and my son born 28, all in 1 month. So we prepare in hand.
Hi, Relebogile. So my ex-husband's birthday is on the 18th of July. When I was pregnant with my son, the gynae said I will have a cesarean due to complications, and I begged and I pleaded to have my son born on my husband's birthday, even to the extent where I went for tests to see if the lungs were developed enough. And when my son was born, I told my ex, who, was still my husband then, now every year your birthday is, look, I gave you a son. I'm no longer buying you presents. So, that was the end of that one.
I love it.
Afternoon, Relebogile. Please keep me anonymous because I know some of my family listens to 702. Birthdays are a big deal for me. I truly love birthdays, and I truly love the attention. In my family, I'm the one that will always wish people, send messages, because I know most of my family's birthdays and the dates, and they even call me the birthday calendar. But when it comes to my birthday, nobody will send a message or call and say happy birthday to me. So I decided to cut everybody off. I no longer send birthday messages. I no longer phone people for their birthdays, because when it comes to mine, nobody does that. Thank you, Relebogile.
Guys, please remember her birthday. Please do remember the birthday. Thank you so much for all of your messages and voice notes and calls. It's 1:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Voting is expected to get underway in the KZN legislature, where a motion of no confidence against Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has been tabled. The MK party put the motion forward, citing failures in the government of Provincial Unity Coalition. A request by the MK party for a secret ballot during voting has also been denied. Government says although it is unhappy with the United States' decision to bar it from participating in G20 engagements, it doesn't want member states to boycott the multinational grouping. Citing his misinformed claims of a white genocide in South Africa, US President Donald Trump has barred the country from taking part in G20 engagements under the US presidency. And the Johannesburg Metro Police Department has raised concern over the high number of motorists driving under the influence in the city. It says close to 200 motorists were arrested for drunk driving in the past week as the festive season kicks in. The arrests are part of intensified roadblocks, roving patrols and targeted festive season operations. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're coming from Germiston heading into the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic in Selby M2 westbound between the Crown Exchange and Main Reef Road. Still in the Selby Amalgam area, there's also slow-moving traffic on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street. If you are leaving Springs heading towards Emalahleni, there's about an hour delay. This is on the N12 eastbound between Pansy and Nell Street. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land not looking too bad. Free-flowing traffic. No accidents have been reported on our highways. However, I am picking up some delays. That's if you are heading into the Kagiso Randfontein area. If you're using Randfontein Road approaching Main Reef Road, expect some delays in that area. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp me at EWN at 072-702-1702.
Are you okay there?
You can also tweet us at EWN.
Just checking because it's December. It's December,
boss.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
How many poor people are there in South Africa?
When we use the lower bound poverty line, which is what we are tracking as directed by the National Development Plan, we have 23.2 million people as of 2023, which was the time we concluded the income and expenditure survey.
What's the trajectory in terms of getting people out of poverty? Are we going the right direction?
Certainly, poverty is going down.
Senga Maluleke.
Gani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
A man driven to the edge. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you're with. When his beloved takeaway was taken away. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will eat you.
It's the Summer of Stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
Every December, it's the same story. New toys, new clothes, and more takeaways. And by January, the bonus is gone. Grow it, don't blow it. With a Nedbank investment. Invest 100,000 Rand or more in a Nedbank 12-month electronic fixed deposit account and stand a chance to win 50,000 Rand. Invest your bonus and grow your future. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
This week, 702 was in conversation with Cell C, and they told us more about their recent JSE listing.
We certainly believe that our CapEx light model, we've pioneered a new network strategy, so we reckon that if you've got physical infrastructure, there's going to be some consolidation that takes place, and the model that we've gone after is a CapEx light model. So we've got a virtual radio access network. We buy excess and spare capacity from MTN and Vodacom in terms of great partnerships that we've got with them, and that gives us access to 28,000 radio base stations where we didn't have 5,500 of our own. We also have a platform for growth. We've got 4 engines. We think we'll do well in prepaid, new products and propositions, distribution channels on the back of a good quality network, postpaid business that we've acquired back now from CC, an enterprise business that's got lots of upside and opportunity off a very low base.
Cell C is now listed on the JSE. Switch to C. Switch to Cell C.
702 Movies.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock. It's time for movies and what to stream. Get your recommendations in for us today as we put together our final list of things we're going to binge watch, catch up, maybe even repeat in any genre, series, films, documentaries, old or new. 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We're joined today by entertainment commentator and host Phil Mpila. Phil, how are you doing?
Hi, Multi What winner.
Listen, darling.
I'm doing well, my queen winner.
I am doing well, thank you, and I'm excited to hear from you because as we are winding down the year, there's so much to sort of look back on in this year of film and TV. But before we jump into what we're going to chat about, I have to ask Phil, I saw somebody saying, you know, a few years ago you'd have maybe 8 big films or 12 big films coming out of Hollywood. Now we're in a time when there's like 12,000 films that are coming out. Are you feeling like it is saturated, and do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Look, I think it's a good thing. I think with the advent of streaming, it has allowed films that you normally wouldn't have been able to see in the big screen to have a fair chance at an audience as the big screen, you know, films that are coming from big studios. So for me, the more the films come out, the more the films are out there and people have access to them, the better for the industry and the better for the people who actually make these films.
All right. And of course, for us as a South African industry, I mean, I know there are many worries, as I'm sure you've heard the murmurs in the industry about what's going to happen. But let's kick off with your list.
Yeah, look, I want to talk about the biggest story, obviously, out of the entertainment industry, especially the TV and film industry this year, obviously, was the mergers that are happening and the bids to take over companies that's been happening here in South Africa and in Hollywood. Everybody has heard about what's happening with Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Here's the thing. A lot of people think that there's an American story that has nothing to do with South Africa, but it does have something to do with South Africa because we are also getting content from the Americans. I mean, everybody knows about the story of DSTV now going to lose about 16 channels, 12 of which are with Warner Brothers Discovery, and then the other 4 are with Paramount Africa. So now, if the deal goes through with Netflix buying Warner Brothers, that means that the shows that we're seeing on MultiChoice, which is now owned by Canal Plus, shows that are from the HBO catalog might be affected by that. So South Africa will indeed be affected by whatever it is that is happening in America with this deal. So that's the biggest story right now, and I think it's going to be a story, and the result of this will affect the industry for whatever it is that's going to be happening in 2026. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there before we get into the actual films themselves. So now,
so just clarify for us, film. My understanding is that MultiChoice and Canal Plus have said that they're going to look for replacements. Now, if that is the case, what is even available? Are we going to be watching Tubi? What's that one?
Exactly. Because look at what's happening right now, right? Everybody knows that Netflix wants to buy Warner Brothers. But here's the thing. Paramount has now jumped into the fray. Paramount also wants to buy Warner Brothers. So now there's a situation where now Netflix is competing with Paramount. Can I just be honest with you? I love Netflix, but I'm much more willing to have Paramount be the one buying this, because then that will mean that there won't be a threat to theatrical films. Because when Netflix does not have any vetted interest in theatrical films because they're a streaming service. So why would they want to save theaters? They won't do that. They can say that right now that they're not going to do anything to harm them. But let's be honest, it's inevitable. If Netflix buys Warner Brothers, then the cinema landscape of our industry will inevitably die because of it. So I'm much more inclined towards Paramount, but now Paramount worries me because of the politics that is attached to it with Donald Trump and all that. But that's a conversation that is just gonna take us the whole day.
Yo, all right, let's jump into the other ones. I know you'll keep us posted on that developing story.
Yeah. So quick one. I just want to remind everybody that sadly we've got two major shows that are going to be ending next year. So Scandal, that has been on ETV for over 20 years, will be ending in June next year. So the final episode will air on the 26th of June next year, 2026. And also the telenovela Smoke and Mirrors has not been renewed, so it's not going to be available next year. It's ending in April 2026. But in terms of what to watch, before we get into that, we need to acknowledge that film director Rob Reiner and his wife were found murdered in their home. It is alleged that their 32-year-old son, Nick, is the one who killed them, but he has not been arrested yet. Rob Reiner was 78 years old. His wife is 68. Everybody knows him from directing Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, but not personally, I know him as Michael Stivic from the 70s sitcom called All in the Family. What to watch though? We're gonna start with number one is The Nowhere Man. It's on Amazon Prime.
Phil,
it's a local.
I know you went by it quite quickly because we want to delve into the other stuff. But it is so disturbing because I discovered that their son was dealing with addiction issues and a whole lot of other issues. And the fact that if it is the case, and it would mean that he stabbed his parents to death. Like, what a disturbing realization for the other two children that the parents have.
Yeah, and apparently the daughter is the one who discovered them in the house. Can you imagine that trauma?
Yeah.
Anyway, man, may he rest in peace. He was an amazing guy. He did a lot for the industry in terms of as a director and, just as a creative. He was well loved by a lot of people. Right, so talking about the films and TV shows that you can stream right now that I think you can close off the year with. A local series right now on Prime that I am loving. Well, when we were young, we used to look at our Sylvester Stallone staring.
Yes.
Yeah, and we wish that we had somebody like that in South Africa. I think Bonko Koza in this gives me that vibe. It gives me that staring vibe. Like, he looks so amazing on screen. He's like Idris Elba on another level. I'm so proud of him. He does such a good job in this. It's a 6-episode series. It's about an ex-soldier who's drawn back into the world of violence after witnessing a house burglary that turned out to be something else. But yeah, man, I've watched 4 episodes by now. It's 6 episodes. Can't wait to finish it. You watch it. It's on Amazon Prime right now. It's called The Nowhere Man.
Okay, we definitely will check that one out.
Yeah, and Netflix, one of my favorite shows this year is a show called The Trauma Code. It's a Korean show, but it's available in English dub as well. I'm normally not a fan of these dubbed shows, but for some reason this one, I just got so immersed in it. What I love about it is it's a quirky medical drama, and it's about this brilliant surgeon who joins the struggling hospital that does not have a trauma center, and he comes in to come and help them build a trauma center, and it's just fun. It's fun, and me, I've been advocating for family-friendly shows. I know there's a bit of blood and gore because of it's a medical drama, but at its core, it's a family-friendly show you can watch with your kids, with the family. There's no vulgar language or sex or anything like that, so I love that, but it's also entertaining, and it's done so very well. It's 6 episodes. It's called The Trauma Code. It's available on Netflix right now.
All right. Sounds like one we must check out.
Yeah. Finally, staying on that family-friendly kind of theme, we bring it home with Listing Coastal South Africa. I'm sure you've heard of Listing Coastal, Joburg, and all these other places, right? I love this one because I have an affinity for the sea. I love the sea, but I can't afford to live in the sea. So this is the kind of show where you live vicariously, watching other people living in these opulent houses, these opulent mansions. It's a beautiful, beautiful series to watch. I love watching it just because it's aspirational, and you kind of like look at this high-end real estate and think that one day I'll be one of those people owning those houses. But yeah, so it's listing coastal. You can watch it on BBC Lifestyle. That is Disney channel 174. It airs on Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
Okay, I have to ask, when is
Yebo.
the shutdown of the channels? When is the final day? Because it means people like me, Babakang Food Network, HGTV, we need to
Yeah.
get within.
Sadly, on the 31st, like right at midnight on the 31st, when the year ends, those channels will be gone. So channels that man, like TLC, you just mentioned the Food Network, even CNN is going, BT is going. So yeah, it's going to be very sad. But I'm just curious to see how this will affect the subscription for DSTV. Will that mean that people will be leaving? Because even if DSTV can find a replacement, it's not going to happen on the 1st of January, So it's going to be very interesting to see how the first quarter of 2026, plays out for television and, the broadcasting space in South Africa.
It definitely is, but I mean, it only makes sense that if you are giving less of an offering, the pricing needs to change or adjust accordingly until you have revamped, but very tricky position that they're going to be finding themselves in. Phil, it's our last time together until 2026.
Oh man, you know what? I'm very touched, given that we just won an award for
Listen!
best in the country. That is such a beautiful thing. Listen, I've had an amazing time being on this platform, and I'm very, very grateful to be able to be allowed to be in your space and speak to your audience. And around people will be like, bro, you're on that show on 702. I'm like, yeah, on Mondays. It's been an amazing thing. I've enjoyed having this conversation with you about television and about movies and about our industry just at large. Because the thing is that we've been able to have conversation beyond just telling people what to watch, and I loved that and I enjoyed it.
In terms of the festive season, I'm going to put you on the spot. We have covered so many things this year. What are the ones that you're saying do not let the clock turn midnight Jen, without having watched this? What would that be? You can say one or two.
What is it? Nostalgia? You won't believe this. Guys, I'm so surprised that a lot of people have not watched Waiting to Exhale. How is that possible? Am I too old?
We are too old. I will be watching it again.
Yeah, go watch it. It's celebrating, I think it's 30 years this year or 40 years. I think it's 30 years. Watch it. It's on Netflix. Waiting to Exhale is a beautiful, beautiful movie. It's a seminal moment in Black history where 4 black leads were in a Hollywood movie that nobody believed in but went out to be a mega hit. Whitney Houston, the soundtrack, so I cannot sell it enough for you. So watch it. If this year ends without you having watched Waiting to Exhale and you have access to TV and Netflix, I'm not going to be happy. So that's one. 2, there is a show that is not new on Showmax called Outlaws. Yeah? What I love about Outlaws is because I've been complaining about the fact that we don't have language diversity on our screens a lot. You know what I mean? We see a lot of Zulu and Xhosa and Guni and other languages, but the other language seems to be not getting as much on screen. Outlaws, it's mainly in Sesotho. Yes, there's a bit of Zulu in there, but also beyond that, creatively, it's a Western, it's an African Western. It's shot so well. I'm so proud of the people that are doing this because I'm sure they are excited to be able to showcase their talent beyond just telenovelas in a normal formulaic way. So Outlaws, it's on Showmax. It's 2 seasons, but season 2 is currently out now. Go check it out. If this year ends without you having seen that, it's gonna be very difficult for me now to recruit you next year so that I can get you on my side, so that we can get the channels to make more shows. And all these other languages. Yeah.
Thank you for always pushing and promoting that, because we know minority languages not getting much attention in this country. Phil, it is such an honor to get to work with you. Because I know your WhatsApp, I will be messaging you to be like, Kana, that one you said, what was that British who done it one you recommended? And we so appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the best talk show team. Aibo!
Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
Phil Mpela, everybody find him on the socials and you'll be able to see his other commentary and things to watch.
in the last 24 hours. This is what's happened in your world.
Suspects have been killed during a shootout with police in the Free State. Gauteng officers and private security guards caught the pair in Parys last night. The suspects were dressed in police uniform and guns and blue lights were also found in their possession. Police spokesperson Dimakatso Nebuli.
It is reported that a team of various police units in Gauteng, including your TRT, Traffic Airway, Detectives Checking Team and Head Office Counterintelligence, together with private security companies, operationalized intelligence information about a VW Golf 7 vehicle involved in blue light robberies.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
This festive season, gift a child healthy meals, hopes, and dreams. Visit ladlesoflove.org.za. And donate 300 Rand a month to sponsor a child and secure a future for all our children.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, we kick things off with the agricultural economist, Wandile Seklobo. As South Africa's wine grape industry heads into 2026 with a lot of optimism, then as festive plans take shape, we unpack the insurance risks of holiday home swaps, Airbnb hosting, and car loans with Ernest North. But after that, we explore the art of culinary success with our How I Make My Money guest, Peter Templehoff, the award-winning chef. And as always, expert analysis of the day's biggest business news.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion rand infrastructure and development finance bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. 702.
Travel.
8 minutes to 2 o'clock in our travel feature for today. We are talking about a self-driving holiday and how to organize one with Iga Mutilska. IgaJourneys.com is where you can check her out. And she also happens to be a national tourist guide. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Iga, happy Monday. How are you doing?
Happy Monday! How is it December? It's absolutely ridiculous and crazy, but I hope that people are really excited to just relax, wind down, perhaps also explore different parts of South Africa that they haven't visited before.
Listen, I'm looking forward to this one because I also am doing a bit of a road trip. There's something fun about doing a bit of a drive down somewhere because the journey starts when you get in the car, not at the destination.
Certainly, and it's all about the stops that you do along the way. And I think, the garden route, for that very reason, is called the garden route because it's so spectacular with its luscious forests, the various rivers that carve their way out into the ocean. So many wonderful stops along the way. And as you say, it's not just about the destination. It starts when we get into the car, when we play those games, when we put on our favorite playlist or an audiobook. When we have catch-ups with our friends or family in the car. Yes, all of that.
All right, so let's kick off with the first tip.
Yes, so I thought that we would talk about some of the lesser known things to do along the garden route because everyone knows about the treetop canopy tours and kayaking into the Storms River or doing those spectacular bridges. And I mean, it's such a beautiful place if you want to reconnect with nature. But I thought, let's talk about some of the things that people might not know about. So it's a 230-kilometer stretch of coastline. Obviously, you can go along the N2 coastal highway from the Grootbrak River area near Mossel Bay all the way to the Storms River in the east, which is located within the Tsitsikamma region. And on average, it'll take about 3 hours to drive, but I highly recommend, if you have the time to do so, to take at least 3 to 7 days to hit the major spots. You'll visit, of course, Mossel Bay, which, here's an interesting fact. It's known for the only north-facing beach in South Africa. So it has an average of over 320 days of sunshine a year. You can also stop at George, which is the capital of the region. It is famous for having the world's largest strawberry. It's almost 15 meters in height, has a diameter of close to 9 meters, was made using 30 tons of steels, and is 82 times larger than the average strawberry. So there's something for families. Of course, wilderness, as the name suggests, it comprises of lakes and rivers, beautiful estuaries, tranquil beaches, and it's part of the Garden Route National Park. We know all about Knysna and its oysters. It's also home to the Knysna seahorse, which is really rare. Perfect place to go out for a boat trip as well. Plettenberg Bay, we know, well loved for all the blue flag beaches. Rauberg Peninsula is spectacular. So many different places along the way that people can stop. And if you're looking to do something different besides the N2, I recommend the 75-kilometer Seven Passes route. It's between George and Knysna. It was designed in 1883, and it passes along 7 rivers. So it really has majestic views looking down, and it passes lesser known towns that people might not know of, like Phantom or Toe River, Silver River. Many of these regions were also engulfed in a gold rush in 1975. So there's perhaps something that many people might not have known.
Wow. And I think having access to that kind of information, you get to make it a part of the holiday itself and stopping in different places. What are some of the interesting facts you can share with us that people might not know about the garden route?
Yes. So the one is that the region was home to the Khoikhoi, of course, we know that. But the Knysna area was called Otaniqua land initially by the early European travelers because the name Otaniqua is said to be a Khoi word that means men laden with honey. And so the Khoikhoi would go and collect wild honey from the forests and the mountains in the area, and hence Otaniqua land, or the Otaniqua Mountains.
Okay, I was completely unaware of that, but trust you to come to us with such interesting facts, because this is now something you've been studying. What other facts can you share with us?
So for someone who really loves ancient history, I highly recommend visiting Rauberg Nature Reserve. It's a spectacular peninsula that juts out into the ocean near Plettenberg Bay. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's steeped in fascinating history, because not only do the rocks date back to hundreds of millions of years, to the time when Gondwana land broke up, but at the same time, it's also a national monument because of the Stone Age artifacts that were found in the caves that are dotted around the National Reserve. And here you can see artifacts in the form of like stone tools and ornaments at Nelson's Bay Cave. They've got a wonderful interpretive center there. And so these artifacts trace a timeline of how we came to be Homo sapiens in the last 120,000 years. It's also really fascinating because you can see the layers of earth that have been sectioned off behind these glass cabinets, and it shows you how the stone tools became smaller and more intricate and detailed with time. So I think for someone who wants to learn a little bit about ancient history, definitely a must-see stop.
What about some geology?
Then you obviously have to visit the Kango Caves. They're situated less than 30 kilometers from Oudtshoorn, and it's a limestone ridge that's located within the Swartberg Mountains. The cave system dates back 20 million years ago, and evidence shows that the cave entrance was actually used by the San people up to about 10,000 years ago, and that's why it's described as one of the 7 wonders of Southern Africa. And the actual Kango Caves complex or cave system complex extends over 5 kilometers underground. So this means that it's the biggest show cave system on the entire continent. So picture this, Relebogile. Van Zyls Hall is 107 meters long. It's 54 meters at its widest part and has a height of 17 meters. So here you can see these wonderful towering limestone formations, like stalactites that hang from the top of the cave ceiling, stalagmites that reach up from the bottom up, and then of course various columns where both stalactites and stalagmites have joined over thousands and thousands of years of erosion and so on. So certainly someone who loves geology will be in awe of the Kango Caves.
And of course, there's so many other things you can check out if you're into animals, if you want to taste, stop by to do some wine tasting, if you're into architecture, or if you want to travel with children, head over to eagerjourneys.com. Iga, it's our last time together for the year. You are phenomenal, and I'm so glad you are a part of our team.
Thank you so much, and wishing you and the entire team and all the listeners just a restful break. I think it's so important to rejuvenate our time, take the time to rejuvenate our energies, and just spend quality time with those who are close to us, and hopefully explore a little bit of South Africa or just chill out too.
Back together next year. It's just after 2:00.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin in KZN, where proceedings have been disrupted in the KwaZulu-Natal legislature, where a vote on the motion of no confidence against Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli is meant to be taking place. The EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe Party are objecting a decision by the Speaker to hold an open vote. The parties want the vote into the motion to be held by way of a secret ballot. Security has been brought in to maintain order during the voting process. Earlier during the debate, the IFP dismissed claims by the MK party that service delivery has collapsed. The party's Thulasizwe Buthelezi.
It is a choice between the steady hand of Premier Ntuli and handing over our province to be controlled by thugs and thieves. The people of KwaZulu-Natal have made their choice. The people have chosen stability, safety, and predictability. And today, this House must choose.
Government says although it is unhappy with the United States' decision to bar it from participating in G20 engagements, it doesn't want member states to boycott the multinational grouping. Citing his misinformed claims of a white genocide in the country, US President Donald Trump has barred South Africa from taking part in G20 engagements under the US presidency. With the G20 Sherpa meeting currently underway in Washington, D.C., South Africa has asked member states to place America's aggression against Pretoria on the agenda. Speaking at a media briefing at the Union Buildings today, presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says he hopes other countries will come to South Africa's defense.
What we are not going to do, which is not going to be helpful, we're not going to ask countries to boycott G20 meetings and G20 processes. We were against the US boycott. We will not promote any form of boycott.
Magwenya adds that G20 member states must voice their opinions on Trump's decision to ban South Africa.
We have encouraged members to express quite strongly their own views as they've expressed to us their support as well as their rejection of the US's position and decision in this regard, which was taken unilaterally in a body that takes decision through consensus.
The Johannesburg Metro Police Department has raised concern over the high number of motorists driving under the influence within the city. It says close to 200 motorists were arrested for drunk driving in the past week as the festive season fever kicks in. The arrests are part of intensified roadblocks, roving patrols and targeted festive season operations. JMPD spokesperson Xolani Fihla says law enforcement is taking a zero-tolerance approach to traffic violations.
It is a stark reminder of the reckless and life-threatening behavior that continues to plague our roads, especially as the festive season peaks. Every single driver we remove off the road is a potential life saved and a preventable tragedy averted.
Fihla has called on motorists to avoid being on the wrong side of the law.
Driving under the influence of alcohol is a serious criminal offence. Those arrested will be processed and will face the full might of the law. The consequences of a DUI conviction could include hefty fines, potential imprisonment and suspension or revocation of a driving licence.
And in Morocco, the death toll linked to deadly flash flooding has risen to 37 now. The floods were triggered by heavy rains in the country's coastal province of Safi. According to reports, 1 hour of the heavy downpours was enough to flood homes and shops, as well as sweep away some cars. Morocco is experiencing heavy rain and snowfall in the Atlas Mountains following 7 years of drought, which emptied some of its main reserves. Gold is trading at $4,346.44 an ounce. The rand is at 16.83 to the dollar, 22.52 to the pound, 19.76 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $61.41 a barrel.
In Selby, heading into the Joburg CBD, that's coming from the Germiston area, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road, still in the same area. There's also slow-moving traffic. Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street. If you are leaving Springs heading towards Emalahleni, expect more than an hour delay. N12 eastbound between Pansy Road and Nell Street.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 26 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, proceedings have been disrupted in the KZN legislature where a vote on the motion of no confidence against Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli is meant to be taking place.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 2 o'clock, it's the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to be jumping into our parenting and parents feature, where we're going to talk about the seriousness of mastitis and breastfeeding care as a whole. And we'll be joined by a dietitian and a breastfeeding advocate for this conversation. We wrap up afterwards with the Naked Scientist with Dr. Chris Smith. Get your science-related questions in early. 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Parenting and Parents
on 702.
Parenting and Parents time on 702. If you have ever had to breastfeed a newborn, breastfeed a baby, you might have already been warned about mastitis. And today we're going to chat in depth about it. After I really felt it was quite an important conversation to have. And I welcome for this conversation Dr. Chantal Witten, registered dietitian and accredited FAO, as in Food and Agriculture Organization, Education for Effective Nutrition in Action, as well as Health System Strengthening Director at Ilifa Labantwana. 011 8830702 and the WhatsApp line 0727021702 for your questions. Doctor, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Relebogile, and good afternoon to the listeners. Exciting to be on with you.
When I stumbled upon a video of a woman who was sharing that she lost her limbs because of mastitis, I was completely unaware that it can become that serious. I always just thought it's kind of restricted to painful breasts and those hard rocks and having a lactation specialist, which I even know is a privilege to be able to have somebody come to your house, teach you breast care, show you what to do in terms of releasing milk when you're feeling the pressure, showing how to have baby latch and all of those things. I know really, really is a privilege. But I want to kick off by asking, how common would you say mastitis is? And do you think many mothers are aware of it?
So let's first debunk all the scare messaging, because mastitis is a very common breast condition for moms, especially new moms. But the extreme case that you have cited is very, very rare. And we know that mastitis basically just means inflammation in the breast. So the breast tissue is inflamed. But what is causing the inflammation is like any other bacteria. So you've got Staphylococcus aureus, or you have Staphylococcus, which can multiply and get into your blood system and go to other parts of your body. So that case that you talked about now is a very extreme case. And that can happen, and we can call that blood infection, which is then called septicemia. So can we restrict the conversation just to the common
definitely.
Condition of mastitis?
So share with us, again, just in terms of the knowledge, do you think many mothers are aware of mastitis and how to do the basic breast care to avoid it? Or do you think that many mothers only deal and understand mastitis when they have to deal with it themselves?
I think many mothers only understand mastitis when they need to deal with it themselves. But mastitis and inflamed breast, most women have experienced it. So somebody in your family would say, oh yeah, I had that situation as well, where my breasts were engorged, they were hot, they were hard, they were sore. And those are the common signs of mastitis. Mastitis also in our families commonly was managed at the household level by our own mothers or somebody older in the household. They would put cabbage leaves in the fridge, put the cabbage leaves on our breast, and that would give us relief. That's called a cold compress. So we have managed mastitis in our families, and we've understood mastitis to be a consequence of breastfeeding. But I think as an understanding of this condition and what this condition, how it's caused, what causes it, I don't think we've actually had the knowledge for it. So I think this conversation that we are having today is very, very important.
So share with us what exactly is happening that a woman can suffer mastitis.
So generally mastitis is an infection in the breast, and it usually happens in the milk ducts. So where the milk is actually coming from, it gets infected by a bacteria. And I said we know that this bacteria is usually Staph aureus. And when we allow the bacteria to grow and our own immune system can't control it, this is when the inflammation becomes more and more, and it becomes a full-blown infection, and we need an antibiotic. Many of us, I personally have had mastitis when I was breastfeeding my own children. Many of us only respond after day 3, and now we really can't bear the pain, and now we go to the doctor. So my first recommendation is when your breasts are inflamed, they're hard, they're sore, and you've tried to release the milk, we can either release the milk by standing under a hot shower, or you can release the milk by putting a warm compress, like putting a warm cloth or a towel on your breast, and that little bit of relief helps you to now express milk just to soften the breast a little bit. But if this is not helping at home, then please, moms, you must go to the doctor. Do not wait beyond day 3. After the first day, by day 2, it's not resolving. This is the time to go to the doctor. But essentially, for our listeners, it's an infection that we get in the breast because we have milk. And milk is a very good substrate, it's a very good medium for bacteria to grow. This is when we get infection. And it's called milk stasis, meaning that the milk is just staying one place. And that usually happens for us as moms when we are not emptying the breast. What does that mean? Our babies are not drinking often enough, or we're not expressing enough, and so the milk is standing and the bacteria is enjoying a buffet. And this is how the bacteria is growing and becoming more and more. And then we get this infection that is escalated to a full-blown antibiotic need, and that's when we need the doctor's intervention.
What are some of the things, I mean, if the milk is still, is the assumption then that baby is not feeding enough, or that mom has too much milk, or is it lack of breast care?
So from my experience, Relebogile, it's important to separate these issues. So the first one I want to say is we know that in South Africa, our moms are suboptimally breastfeeding. What does this mean? This means that our moms are not putting the baby to the breast often enough. In the very first few months, I'm talking about newborn, baby practically needs to be skin to skin on your body, feeding anytime, all the time. But moms want to do the washing, they want to do the dishes, they want to clean the house, and so there's not enough breastfeeding time. We also know from scientific studies that if we give the mom we call it a tracing agent, you give the mom the tracing agent, and based on how much time she spends feeding her baby, we should be able to find that tracing element in the baby, that tracing agent. And moms say, no, I've been feeding 10 times a day. I've been feeding all the time. The baby's drinking on demand. But when we measure what we give the mother and what we find in the baby, it does not correlate. So we know that mothers are sub-breastfeeding. If your baby is not feeding at least 2 hourly, we don't like to talk about timing, but if you're spending more than 2 hours away from your baby and your baby is not on the breast every 2 hours, then you're not feeding frequently enough. And we call that clearing of the breast. So you're not emptying the breast. And that milk stays. That is called milk stasis. That's the first one. And that's the more common one. Then we do have moms that produce milk, more than enough milk, more than the baby can drink. And so those moms must express so that their breast stays soft. The minute the breast is getting hard, you have the opportunity for the bacteria to be spending more time gathering the milk, feeding on the milk, and multiplying. And so you need clearing of the breast, you need emptying of the breast to prevent milk stasis, to prevent the milk standing, as we say in layman's terms, standing for too long.
Okay, so in obviously an ideal world, I think many mothers would want to just lay down and be with their babies, napping at the same time and all of those things. But knowing the realities of, how many people might not be with their mothers, might not have partners supporting them, they might end up having to do a lot of things themselves. What are some of the other things that they can do to get the milk moving once they feel that mastitis coming on? Because it actually starts to feel like a bit of a very hard rock, if I'm to describe it that way. What can they do when they start to feel that? Because it can be extremely painful now when you're trying to relieve by feeding on that specific breast.
So let me use this opportunity because I'm on 702. I think as women, we must do everything in our power to build the environment for breastfeeding. So in this country, every woman should have maternity leave and paid maternity leave, and that's what we're advocating for. So not all our moms can be home for the baby all the time. We know women are working and women have many different jobs to do. But essentially, you'll get a tingling in the breast Anybody who's had mastitis will tell you there's a tingling in the breast, and the breast almost feels feverish to the touch. It's warm. So this is the onset before the breast becomes rock hard. Once it's rock hard, we have a problem. But as soon as that tingling begins and the breast is feeling hot, it's giving off a fever. It's also called milk fever. So in some cultures and in some communities, it's called milk fever. So the breasts get hot and they get this tingling fever. Now you know that there is an infection. What we should be doing is soften the breast first. I recommend to my clients and to the community when I do education, you need to stand under a shower, let that water run off the breast. It softens the breast, and as the breast starts to relax, you start to gently massage the breast from the under your armpits towards the nipple. And you just push it gently as if you were pushing that milk out of the breast. If you don't have a shower, you take a hot cloth and you put it on the breast just to gently massage that breast, get it a bit soft so that you can extract the milk. And by extracting the milk, expressing that milk, you start to soften the breast. It helps the breast, firstly, not to be so painful. Secondly, so you can manipulate the breast so that you can actually express the milk. And I'm talking hand express. When the breast is very hard, you cannot use a pump. You must use the hand, and you must use your hands to massage to get the breast soft enough so that you can actually manipulate the breast and empty it. So the first thing is empty the breast. Control the fever by putting a cold compress. In our communities, we know that many people use different things. You can use cabbage leaves. You can use an ice cloth. You put the cloth in the freezer, and it's an ice cloth. You compress the breast to just bring that fever down. Also, you take painkillers like a paracetamol or an ibuprofen you can use. These are over-the-counter painkillers, so you want to use the painkillers just to dull the pain. And then secondly, continue to express the milk. You can't allow the milk to actually stay in the breast because this is what the bacteria is feeding off on. And the more you can express, the better. Do not throw that breast milk away. You can use that breast milk in a baby bath. You can use that breast milk to clean wounds. Do not throw breast milk away. It is I almost want to say a sacred body fluid that was designed to heal, to help, to feed. So when we have mastitis, we may not feed the milk to the baby, but we can use that milk in other ways. And then as soon as your breast is as soft and you can tolerate the baby, put the baby on the breast. It is the most effective way to empty the breast, is actually to have the baby on the breast. And what is very important during this time is the baby must latch well. And that's just like a suction cup latching onto the window or latching onto a smooth surface. You want the baby to latch onto the breast so it's not hurting the nipple. There's no pain on the nipple. And the baby clears the breast fastest, quickest, and painlessly. That would be the management.
I think there are some moms. I know I had a period where my son had a preference for a certain breast. So the latch became the one side, meaning the other breast now is the one that got sort of neglected. Can you chat to us about what you advise mothers to do if you already can anticipate that you're struggling with getting baby to latch, because one should be alternating, which then can create problems?
I'm sorry, Relebogile, can you repeat? I seem our connection is a bit low.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Yes, so I was saying in some mothers, because I know I experienced it with myself, where my son would prefer one breast and would latch easily on the one side, not on the other. So what do you advise for mothers to do if they can already see that they're struggling with one side, which obviously will eventually create problems?
Thank you for that question. Yes, babies also prefer their feeding side. So if you have a baby that is preferring your left breast, what I suggest is while your baby is feeding on the left breast, put a cup on the right breast and just gently massage the right breast to express milk. Because what you're trying to do is also just empty the breast. The milk that you're expressing from the right breast can be used in a bottle to feed the baby or in a cup to feed the baby, but it's essentially get that breast empty and not allow the breast to fill up and stay full and to get hard and inflamed. We're trying to prevent the hard inflammation. Also, if your baby seems to be feeding very well on the left breast but doesn't like the right breast, then what you need to do is always start on the right breast, because when the baby is hungry, the baby tends to have a better latch and latches well. If the baby doesn't have a good position, you can use the baby like a rugby ball under your arm. So you position the baby's head to the breast, but the body is behind you. The body is under your arm behind you. That seems to also give a better latch on a breast that the baby doesn't usually feed at. The other way also, if your baby is a lie down feeder, that means you are lying down and the baby is feeding at the breast, that could help a better latch. Or if the baby is a feeder that feeds directly standing in front of you, that means the baby is not cradled in your arm, but literally the baby is being held like in a seating position towards the breast. These are all just ways to try and get a baby to latch to a breast. Often it's about getting the right position so the baby feels comfortable and you as a mom are comfortable and your baby has a good latch. If your baby does not have a good latch, you will have pain at the nipple. We call that nipple feeding. And nipple feeding is very painful because the nipple is tender, the skin around the nipple is very soft, and if the baby doesn't have a good latch, it actually causes the nipple to become damaged, cracked, and sore. And that damaged, cracked, sore nipple becomes another way that bacteria can get back into the breast.
Would you encourage, I have heard that there are fathers who will help the mom sort of get breast milk out by sucking. Would you encourage or discourage that, in the sense that maybe, a grown man's sucking might be too strong and too painful, or does that help?
I think anything that builds families, and if your partner is supportive in that way, yes, of course. It's gentle sucking, so it's not hard sucking as if you were sucking on a lollipop, but it's a little bit of pressure so that the breast actually releases the milk. And as your adult partner is sucking on your breast, you have a gentle massaging again from under the armpit towards the nipple, top of the breast towards the nipple. And that helps very easily. And that, I think, if fathers are supportive and partners are supportive in that way, awesome job. I'm yet to find a man that is willing to drink breast milk. So I think that's great.
I'm going to read some WhatsApp messages. One says, thank you so much for the advocacy and the education. Breast is best. Milk, status, and fever are something that I am learning of today. And this is from Dr. Philemon Mahuma, who's a consultant family physician. Thank you so much for that message.
Oh,
Tabang
wow.
says, did you know that dairy cows also get mastitis?
Relebogile, how can we not learn from nature? Of course, we know that. Of course, this is how we learn. It's from nature. And we also know that from cows and all our other mammals, if the baby animal does not get the first milk, called the foremilk or the colostrum, we know that those animals have the highest risk of dying. So for our babies and our newborn babies, colostrum is life-saving. It's the first immunization for a baby. It's that thick yellow milk. We also call it liquid gold. So yes, we learn from our animals as well.
Then just in the case of babies that are taken to NICU straight after being born, where mothers might miss that opportunity and don't have access to a pump or a lactation specialist, what can they do on their own?
I do want to get away from a lactation specialist. Not that I don't support lactation specialists, but we work in a community and in a space of primary health care. So in our primary health care, supported by our community health workers, many of our community health workers are also breastfeeding advocates, and they're also called breastfeeding advisors. So for our moms, the first thing I want to say to moms, you have maternal natural instincts. when your baby is with you calmly, nobody shouting at you, nobody making you feel pressured, put your baby on the chest and allow your baby to latch naturally on its own. It can do that. All mammals can do that. Secondly, if your breasts are too sore and too hard, gently massage the breast, as I said earlier. Put the milk into a teaspoon, and you can feed your baby by teaspoon. You don't need to have a bottle. No mother, when you start breastfeeding, fills a bottle with her breast milk. Our baby's tummy is as small as a walnut. Look at the size of your baby's hand. That's how big your baby's tummy is. So we're not talking loads of milk. We're talking feeding small bits of milk. And if you are not able to latch, you find that the latch is very painful, then keep expressing into a teaspoon, keep expressing into a little container, and feed your baby. Your baby can actually cup feed. There are beautiful videos on YouTube and TikTok that shows you how babies are drinking from a teaspoon or from a cup because they can naturally sip and swallow.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. And I think it is so critical, as you've said, to advocate for the breast and for breastfeeding, because we do know breast milk is best. And hopefully we will reach a point, as you said, Doctor, that more and more women find themselves in a position where they can take the time to be home and fully present, and, you know, also feeding themselves and taking care of themselves so that they can also feed baby. Thank you so much for chatting to us today.
Thank you, and thank you for the topic. Thank you so much.
It's 2:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. A very good afternoon. We begin in KZN with news just in. This is in the legislature where a motion of no confidence against KZN Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has failed. The MK party put the motion forward, citing failures in the government of Provincial Unity Coalition. Tensions then broke out after a request by the MK party for a secret ballot during voting was denied. As a result, the MK party and EFF decided not to take part in the process, while all members of the coalition government voted against this motion. Communications and Digital Technologies Minister Solly Malatsi has dismissed calls to withdraw his policy directive to allow companies like Starlink to operate without meeting certain BEE requirements. Malatsi says the opposition to this directive is all about political expediency. It follows calls by Communications Portfolio Committee Chairperson Kusela Sangoni Diko for the immediate withdrawal of the directive. And the Joburg Metro Police Department has raised concern over the high number of motorists who were driving under the influence in the city. It says close to 200 motorists were arrested for drunk driving in the past week as the festive fever kicks in. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in the Selby area, coming from the Germiston side, you can expect about a 30-minute delay on the M2 westbound from the Crown Interchange all the way to Main Reef Road. There's also slow-moving traffic still in the Selby area, Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street. If you are leaving Springs, heading towards Emalahleni, expect about a 30-minute delay on the N12 eastbound from Pansy Road all the way to Nell Street. Also in Soweto, traveling through Protea Glen, Lenasia area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound. This is between the Golden Highway and the R558. And there's also faulty traffic lights slowing down traffic Bramley at Collet and Scott. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now.
To your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs.
Having engaging conversations.
And keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
And the award for the spiciest stunt performed in a bowl goes to Top Yum Yum Cruise.
Thank you everyone. Wow, what an honor. I'd like to thank the chilies, the lemongrass, and of course, Simply Asia, for believing in my flavor.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
Join the summer spectacle of speed with Hollywood Bets. Take the reins with the sizzling summer competition. Bet 50 Rand or more on horse racing for a chance to win a share of 1 million Rand in prizes. This includes one of 8 all expenses paid VIP experiences to the 2026 WSB Cape Met. Saddle up and bet now for a chance to claim flaming fortunes at the finish line. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Coming up
On 702 Drive.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. John Perlman has officially hung up his headphones for the festive season, so we are graced by the presence of the legendary and iconic Thabo Shole Mashau.
From your lips to God's ears.
Happy Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank
This is my
you.
first time seeing you.
Thank
but
you.
I don't think it's too late. Well
It's
deserved.
never too late.
You guys work very hard behind the scenes, and your topics are always on point. The production team is great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
We are continuing to accept tips via e-wallet. What's the Capitec one called?
I don't know.
Cash send, all of them.
Yeah,
We are
okay.
accepting tips.
I don't want to appear in the Madlanga Commission, so I'm not going to send anything your way. Congratulations should be enough.
What's coming up on your
Yeah,
show today?
I mean, Relebogile, I don't know if you've seen, on our TV screens, chaotic scenes have been unfolding in KZN, at the KZN legislature, and that is on the backdrop of a vote or motion of no confidence against the premier of the province, Tamin Duli. MK Party had pushed for the motion to say that the motion of no confidence should pass so that the premier should vacate office. We saw violent scenes, singing, disruptions, and at the end, we now understand that the motion collapsed. It has failed, meaning that Tamin Dulu will still be the premier. We'll speak to our reporter in KZN. We'll also speak to a political analyst to give us some bit of insights. That province is very consequential, and thus that's why we are putting a limelight on it. You'd remember that the majority of the votes were given to MK, but through the GPU, it is now led by ANC and IFP. NFP pulled a very quick one on them today, so we'll touch on that on the show.
KZN always just has drama.
Dramatic.
Like, guys, you're by the ocean. Are you not supposed to be more relaxed than we are? We're here by the high-rise buildings and pollution of Gauteng. You guys have the sea. Why are you not chilling? Like, I'm so concerned.
Yeah. Well.
KZN. Awa.
There was serious drama today in the legislature, so we'll touch on that. Ntate Padile Hohla, former statistician general, he's written a very interesting piece about the state of the ANC. We'll touch on that. Holiday blues, how to navigate loneliness during the holidays, and some people want to work and work and work and work simply because they're avoiding those blues back at home. I'm not talking about myself or yourself or any of the stand-ins here at 702, because there is work. So, and so also on a lighter note, when you're driving with your friends, going on holiday or to any other place, who should decide on the playlist in the car?
The driver. The driver must be comfortable. What do you mean? It's not even a vote.
But there could be 4 of you and 3 of you want to listen to something else.
Can I tell you why the driver must be the one to decide the playlist?
Yeah.
Because when everybody else in the car is snoring and has fallen asleep, you're on the road alone, needing to figure out how we're getting each other there safe, trying to decide, am I overtaking the truck? Am I not? So no, if you're not driving, don't touch the playlist. You can ask for a song.
Yeah.
But of the 7 hours, you're getting one song.
Can you vote against the driver's choice?
If my thing is, if you want a song, come drive. How? What do you mean? Like, Kauko driver, hey. Awa? Tabo, you're going to upset us. You've just come back here and already you're upsetting us with your talkers. 702 drive from 3 to 6 p.m. with Tabo Sholomashau standing in for John Perlman.
702.
The Naked Scientist.
Time for The Naked Scientist with Dr. Chris Smith, 011 8830702, and the WhatsApp line 072 7021702. Dr. Chris Smith, who should control the playlist on a road trip? The driver or the passengers?
Well, I reckon there's an additional dimension you didn't mention just there, which is also the position in the car. Because the person in the passenger seat, they're the co-pilot, aren't they? So they must have a higher position on the pecking order in the song selection priority order than the people in the back seat who are relegated to being backseat drivers. So I think it goes pilot, which is the person at the steering wheel, then co-pilot, which is the person in the passenger seat, because they've also got to do some of the navigating. So they get some respect for that. And then lowest of the low is anyone in the back seat, and anyone in a car seat. Well, their view doesn't in the child seat. Well, they don't get a vote, but they're probably asleep anyway. But back seat comes after front seat, after driver.
Oh my goodness.
What do you reckon? That democratic? That's democratic, isn't it? That's fair.
That is democratic and fair. All right, we're going to take all of your science-related questions. 011 8830702, the WhatsApp line 072 7021702. Vanessa says, please ask Dr. Chris, is it safe to wake someone up during their bad dream? It's frightening to see what surely is traumatic in the subconscious. What should one do? What are the effects, if any, waking them up or letting them go through it? Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Thanks, Vanessa, for that. You know, I've never been asked that and I've never thought about it, but I have heard people say, oh, be very careful about waking people up when they're having a nightmare. I'm not sure there's really any good evidence for that. The only thing I can say is that you're more likely to remember a dream if you wake up during that dream. And one of the reasons why people report that they remember the dreams that they have at the end of the night better is because those are the ones that they tend to be having when they wake up naturally. So if it is a horrible dream, there is a possibility that if you wake someone up while they're having it, they're going to remember it more. And that might, in the long term, be a bit more traumatic. But there's no evidence that being woken up in the middle of a horrible dream or in the middle of a nice dream has any other long-term effect or is going to harm you in some way or lead to some other catastrophe. The evidence is that dreams are where we process information during the sleeping phase that we've perhaps picked up when we were awake. We make sense of things when we're asleep. No one knows exactly why this happens or how it happens or what its purpose is, but it seems to be very important. If you stop people dreaming, then they don't rest as well at night. They don't remember or process information, or they can't recall information as well the next day. So it seems to have an important role in consolidating information we do want and throwing out information we don't want, or perhaps making sense of what we've encountered during the waking day. So it's important, and you should get good sleep. I don't think there's any evidence that if you wake someone up during a nightmare, you're going to do them any harm, though.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that question. Doctor, I do have to ask, we were chatting earlier about mastitis and breastfeeding and breast care. Is there any sort of latest information around that in terms of medicine and just any new research that has been discovered?
Well, breastfeeding is an excellent choice for an infant because you've got something which is pre-warmed, it's the correct calorie and nutritional values for a baby, And if we assume that mum doesn't have any other infections that she could pass on, and really relevant here is HIV, because it's really important to make sure that HIV is well controlled and that breastfeeding is coordinated around HIV controlled or avoided. But if we put that to one side, breastfeeding is the best start for a baby, for all the reasons I've outlined. That the line breast is best is there for a reason. Now, that's not to say if you can't breastfeed, you can't breastfeed and that you should feel bad about that. It's important, nevertheless, to try. And if you can breastfeed, it's a really excellent health choice for the baby, not just because it's pre-warmed, it's sterile, and it's the right nutritional composition. It's also got an important role to play in getting the microbiome, the bacteria that live in and on the baby, right for the future. Because there are things in breast milk, including bacteria themselves, but also antibody and other chemicals that strongly mold or select for certain microbes and suppress the growth of other microbes in the intestines, which helps to establish a healthy microbiome going forward. And there is an association with better health in the long term, as well as potentially better IQ, better performance in the workplace. These are all associations, not causations, but they're important ones. So those are all worth bearing in mind. Now, all this comes at a cost, of course. It can be inconvenient for mum. It can be uncomfortable for mum. And as you've just highlighted, some people do develop soreness, and you can get problems like cracked nipples, you can get skin infections, etc., etc. This has been happening for thousands of years, and the answer is that it's one of those things that happens. The best thing to do is, if it happens, don't beat yourself up about it. Make sure you've got an alternative while it's happening. Give yourself a rest, give yourself a break. And also, if it's not something that looks like it's going to resolve simply, make sure you seek medical advice in case something else is going on.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that one. Doctor, we have got Thomas from Tembisa. Thomas, hi, go ahead.
Hello. Yes, ma'am. My name is Thomas. My question is with regards to the continents, actually, because to the way I understand the continent is that a continent is a very large piece of land surrounded by water. But why is Europe a continent apart from Asia, but there's no water in between there?
So why are Asia and Europe considered separate continents if they are basically joined, Doctor?
You could take Thomas's argument and say, well, if we go back millions of years, what we would actually find is there was only one continent, because everything was joined together. It was a big land called Pangaea. Pan means all, Gea land, all the land. And because of the movement of tectonic plates, these lumps of land moved apart from each other and jockeyed for position in different places across the earth. So the continents are all in motion. They are made of thick crust material called continental crust, which extends down into the surface of the earth hundreds of kilometers. That's in comparison to non-continental crust, where you're talking a few tens of kilometers deep, like what's under the seafloor, for example. And these things are floating on the mantle inside the planet. And the mantle is a squidgy substance, which, with that huge mass of a continent on top of it, sinks and bobs about like basically a cork floating around on the ocean. And this leads to the effect that the continents can move, and they move around, and occasionally they butt into each other. That's what happened when we had Pangaea back in history, and they've since moved apart. India, for example, used to be down where Antarctica is, and it's migrated all the way up across the Indian Ocean and slammed into the Asian continent and pushed up the Himalayas in the process. So the continents are defined by the tectonic plates that separate them, and underneath the continent is a huge great load of crust. They are all mobile, separate entities, and what we call each continent is its own tectonic plate capable of moving, but some of them, just by chance, happen to, while we're here on planet Earth, have run into each other. Others are moving away, and back in history, they were way away from where they are now.
All right, thank you so much for that question that has come through. We've got a voice note on 072 702 1702.
Sure, Relay and Doctor there. May I please ask, why is the sky blue? Like, we know the sky is black, but why blue? Why not orange? Why not green? Why blue?
What a beautiful question. And the answer is you have to go a step further and ask, well, as he points out, the sky doesn't have a color, because when we look at the sky at night, the stars are white. And that means white light is coming from a star through the atmosphere to us. It can't be colored, because if the sky had a color, it wouldn't look white at night. So that color must be an optical illusion, which is only there during the day. So where does that come from? The answer is that the sun, which is our nearest star, pumps out light of all different colors and wavelengths. And when they merge together, they look white. So the light that's coming from the sun, we call it white. But we know that when it gets split up, you can break it up into the different colors we can see, because they're the colors in a rainbow. And when that white light hits the outer atmosphere of the Earth, the atmosphere is chiefly nitrogen, about 4/5 nitrogen, and about 1/5 oxygen. And the bonds between the nitrogen atoms are about the same size as blue waves of light. So what happens is that the longer wavelengths, the reds and the yellows and the greens, come straight through, but the blue gets scattered by the atmosphere. So when you look up at the sky, your eye sees bits of blue light coming from all directions. And your brain makes sense of that by saying, well, then the sky must be blue. So we see blue light coming from all directions, and we infer blueness to the sky, which of course goes away when it's dark, because there isn't that scattering effect going on, and you see the true color of the atmosphere, which is transparent.
Oh, thank you so much for that question. We move on to the next one. One says, global warming and dust. As a house executive for a few years, I have to sweep and collect dust more than before. Is it due to global warming, or will it subside with rainy weather?
Well, first of all, what is dust? When we're in our houses, a lot of what we call dust, this is going to sound a bit yucky, but it's actually us. We're shedding thousands of dead skin cells into the environment around ourselves all the time. And when you see those sunbeams come in the window and there's all these particles glistening, a lot of that is dead skin and dandruff. And if you've got pets, they also make it worse. So some of the dust that you're hoovering up, you are vacuuming up, sweeping up, is bits of the people you live with and you. But also, we bring into the house other stuff. And of course, we bring in mud and dirt from the environment. And if we live in a particularly dry place, then you can end up with enormous amounts of dust and things coming in from the outside world as well. And they blow in. And as a result of that blowing in, you end up with the dust collecting in the environment, and you see it in the air. And that's why it's there.
Thank you so much for that question. All right, there are two people asking the same question. Musa says, why is yawning contagious? And another says, please ask the naked scientist, how is it possible that I yawn when someone else yawns over a phone call?
Right. Well, why is yawning contagious? We think from an evolutionary point of view, we have evolved to yawn because yawning wakes us up. The evidence is that when we get tired, brain temperature gets higher. So a fatigued brain is a hotter brain. Yawning helps to cool the brain. So that makes you wake up. And if you're in a group of people and one person is tired, it's likely that everyone is tired. It's therefore likely that everyone could nod off. And if everyone were to nod off, there'd be no one to look out for danger. So if we have a situation where everyone catches a yawn off each other, everyone wakes up a bit. Therefore, the likelihood of someone staying awake to spot the danger and avoid us being turned into someone else's lunch just went down. And that's why we think yawning is contagious. And it's not just seeing someone yawn, it's the sounds, because there are giveaways as well, aren't there? There's the sound, the sort of, you can hear the facial contortion, you can hear the breathing change. You're also picking up on the signals. This person's yawning, and it makes you yawn as well. So it's an infectious process designed from an evolutionary perspective to wake us up and stop us becoming someone's dinner.
Here's an interesting question. naked scientists versus AI. Is there a threat to what you, Dr. Chris, have been doing over the years by AI, that the public will increasingly prefer asking AI instead of an expert like yourself?
Well, I can only speak for, and I have a vested interest, of course, but I can only speak for my own view on this, which is that right now I do not trust AI at all. And the reason is that I've come across so many examples when researching things and looking things up, both professionally in my medical job, but also for interest's sake in science. Because AI confabulates information. It invents things to fill in gaps where it thinks an answer may be plausible, so it just supplies it, and it is not plausible or it is not right. And you've got to be really, really careful of this. You may end up being fooled, and people, including the publishers of scientific information, are increasingly worried about this, because what's happening in the industry is a lot of scientists are getting AI systems to help them to research information, to write up manuscripts and generate papers. These are then being published by sometimes lower quality publishing houses. And the problem is that when the lower quality publishing house then puts out the AI generated information, which contains a lot of errors, other AI systems may then ingest those errors. And then when they synthesize information that people rely on, they're being misled as well. So I think there's a real danger of being misled. And medically, I think it's potentially quite risky.
Definitely. I think I'm with you on that one, Doctor, that preferring to ask AI is one thing. Trusting AI is a whole other conversation altogether.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. That I think asking it's one thing, and it may lead you to look at certain things that you think, yeah, I should consider that. And people are using it to highlight things where there are deficiencies in our knowledge, for example. And this is also the case in, for instance, drug discovery. People are looking at various drugs and asking, where are the gaps in our knowledge about what molecules do what and what structures might have a role to play. But you certainly wouldn't ask it, well, which drug should I treat this with? Because it could just decide to treat a certain disorder with cyanide and kill you.
There's that as well. All right, another one says, Doctor, why do kids insist on wearing their shoes in a crossed manner? Right foot on the left shoe and left foot in the right shoe. Because they can do it themselves.
I've never done that.
That's why, because they can do it themselves.
Well, no, I think there's a more simple explanation, which is that when they put them on the right way, no one complains and no one notices. But put them on wrong, it not only looks wrong, but you discipline them because they've made a mistake. So you tend to remember that. So I think that more it's that we notice when they get it wrong, but also they might sometimes do it because they get a reaction.
Well said, Dad. Because I know that was not a scientist answering. That was a father answering. Dr. Chris Smith, I hate to say it, but this is our final time together until next year.
Well, here's to 2026.
Here is to 2026, and I'm just so grateful you remain a part of this team, and I think it's going to be an even better year, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have 10 million more science-related questions for you. I will be stalking you a little bit over the festive season on WhatsApp as I stumble across interesting and crazy things to say. Did that happen? Is that real? But I look forward to getting back together with you in January.
I look forward to it. See you soon.
Merry Christmas and see you next year.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on PrimeMediaPlus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 7:02. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the PrimeMediaPlus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors, as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising@dkms-africa.org to donate today.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Sally Williams chocolate and nougat products. Buy any 2 and save 25%. And Lindt Lindor chocolate balls, 200 grams for $139.99. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper or shop on 6060. T&Cs apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, we kick things off with the agricultural economist, Wandile Seklobo. As South Africa's wine grape industry heads into 2026 with a lot of optimism, then as festive plans take shape, we unpack the insurance risks of holiday home swaps, Airbnb hosting, and car loans with Ernest North. But after that, we explore the art of culinary success with our How I Make My Money guest, Peter Templehoff, the award-winning chef. And as always, expert analysis of the day's biggest business news.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion rand infrastructure and development finance bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons, primemediaplus.com, or download the Prime Media Plus app, and you can catch up on all our conversations. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The MK party loses bid to oust the KZN Premier, and JMPD warns against traffic violations this festive season. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin with news just in. The MK party's motion of no confidence against KZN Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has failed. This has been declared by Speaker Ntombeko Boyce after several attempts to have voting take place.
Thank you, honorable members. The motion has failed. Honorable Ntuli remains the Premier. The House is adjourned.
The process today was disrupted by members of the MK party and EFF who had won.